Hello, good morning. You are welcome to Mining for the Truth. Of course, it is a process of digging to discover the undiluted doctrines of Christ. My name is Joseph Fata, at 10 Church of Christ. I welcome all my viewers, my commentators, my listeners, and everybody. I like all what you are doing. Your comment, your likings, everything. Some have been sharing it. Special greetings to you from my listeners from Australia, Dubai, Ghana, USA, everywhere. Thank you so much. I've been saying that there's nothing wrong in doing God's work. And whoever is against becomes an antichrist. Theophilus, I thank you so much. In fact, you were a good friend, actually. Thank you so much for your recommendations, your encouragement, everything. In fact, as I've been saying, you were the first person to call to encourage me on my first video, Matthew 6 verse 33. God first. You were the first person. And I love that. In fact, you have done so well. And I think whatever you are doing. A deacon. Actually, he's a deacon. So Deacon Enu, officially, Deacon Enu. Also, I greet Professor Samuel Kobna. Yes. He is the Paul, and I'm the Silas. He is the Paul, and I'm the Timothy. Now, today, catch us live on Sky Power 93.5, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. You call that one Christ Hour, the Christ Hour. So this evening, I'll go to Sky Radio to share the word of God. Nowadays, I've not been reading the Bible there because I want the wife to also partake. The video aspect is important, so I've been capturing the video. Yeah, so in case you don't see me in the video, then it means I'm the one recording the videos. For about 2 months now, I have chosen to be recording the videos. So very soon, you will see me appear in the video. But we are there. We are always there. We are working as a team. Okay. Today, as I've been saying, I'm here alone because I am in my room. So this doesn't mean that there's any misunderstanding. No, there's some misunderstanding between the two of us. This is Facebook, and I stay apart from where he stays. That's why. Okay. So having said that, we finished Blessed are the meek yesterday, Matthew 5 verse 5. So that one was episode 3, or the third episode. Now today, we're going to start with the fourth episode. As I said, I'm going to present from episodes 1 to 10. Matthew 5 verse 3 to 10, and then 13 and 14. So in all, it will be 10 episodes. And as I promised, if all things being equal, I will present to you one episode every day. On Tuesday, I'll go to school. School resumes on Tuesday. So I'll present up to Monday, and the rest will be scheduled to the weekend. Normally Friday to Sunday. I think by then I'll be done. And if I'm done with the teachings, I will have to rest. When I say I will rest, it means I'm going to give sermons. So as I'm giving sermons, then I'll be preparing or choosing the next topic and theme. Officially, I prepared this teachings, the Beatitudes, between 2017 and 2019. So it was not something new that I prepared. These are my old teachings between 2017 and 2019. I think it was my project work also. I was doing some online program. So I think they gave it to me as a project work, if I remember. So I used Saturday and Sunday, which they just passed, to revise everything. I used 2 days to revise the whole thing. So it wasn't easy. And the pages, 34 pages document, yeah. It is from pages 1 to 34. I mean, the 10 episodes. It was not easy. So I used the whole weekends to revise all of them. All of them are fresh to correct some grammatical error, because 2017 to 2019 is not the same as 2023. So at least new things have come up. So I had to review and then revise it. So I have revised a lot. Done some corrections in the grammar, some Hebrew words correction and others. I say Hebrew words, Greek words, and I have to correct some and add some to it. In fact, I had to read books more, precisely literature, because I'm using grammar to teach the Bible. Even this one, I should have gone deeper. But because I don't have anyone to record me, if I have someone to record me, then I'll be needing a board. I mean, marker board, to do some kind of writings on it. But at least I'm doing the least that I can. Okay, so you have come to today's topic, living for Jesus. I've been saying that if you have a child who is traveling, or if you have a friend who is traveling to anywhere in the world, to stay there, whether the person is going to school, even in Ghana here, then you will need living for Jesus. I myself, I have appreciated it so much that, and not knowing that all this life I've been living for Jesus, I didn't even know until I began the revision. You must live for Jesus. You must live. That's why I said living for Jesus. And then the theme is the Beatitudes. Some will say the Beatitudes. From Matthew 5, verse 3 to 10. Actually, it should have ended at Matthew 5, verse 3 to 10. But I chose to add the verse 18 and then verse 14, the short and light. We'll summarize all what I'm now treating. So today, as I said, the episode 4, Matthew 5, verse 6. Blessed are the hungry and thirsty. So I will read as usual. And I have my King James version. New King James, actually. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they will be filled. Now let's go to the ESV edition and see what it will also tell us. Matthew 5, verse 6. Very good. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. For they shall be satisfied. And here is saying, blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they will be filled. They, so we have will be filled, shall be satisfied. My interest will be on the will and then the shall. Of course, I explained yesterday. Let me officially repeat myself again. God does not contradict himself. So that's what you must know. And the Bible is complete. There's no other books in which they should be added to the Bible. Anyone who says so, the person is an antichrist. You are not sensible than God. You are not sensible than God. The creature is not above the creator. So the Bible, as you see, it is complete. Only that we have different editions and different versions. So this ESV. This one is a 21st century New King James Version. So the words at times may be similar or slightly opposite. But we are saying that will and shall are all auxiliary verbs. Will, shall are all auxiliary verbs. An auxiliary verb is a verb which refers to the future or the futurity. So the futurity is the will and then shall. So the will and shall are all auxiliary verbs and they are referring to the future. Of course, the auxiliary acts as a support, to offer support or to provide support, being an the part of speech will be adjective for the auxiliary. So it is just there to help. That's why we say auxiliary verbs. Will and shall are used interchangeably. So the ESV is using shall and the New King James is using will. Please, there is no contradiction here. That's why I'm saying that they are all auxiliary verbs. All right. So the introduction, as usual. Now, during tests, we mean when you are testing. So during tests, the pace gets slower For example, if you are walking, you see that there's a diminish in energy or even effort. And at it more intense, the saliva tends to foam. And the spit resembles cotton. When you are thirsty for long, your saliva tends to foam. And when you spit it, you find it to be in a form of cotton. It means well dried. One will think that death is near. Yeah, because you are thirsty. And of course, if you continue so, then you can die. So one would think that death is near. Supposing there's a nearby farmer who is pumping water from either hand pump or from anywhere, who is cultivating crops, a farmer, driven by thirst or driving by thirst, the step will be quickened. Now, the synonym for pace is step. PACE. Yeah, the synonym for pace is step. So driven or driving by thirst, the step will be quickened. Because why? Because you have seen that there's a water nearby. Therefore, you have to be in a hurry to go and then sip something. If he is kind, we're making reference to the farmer. If this farmer is kind, then he's going to offer you water upon arrival. It means when you are near him, he will offer you the water. Some is kind, some is not kind. So if he's not kind, he's not going to offer you the water. When you offer the water, you will drink to satisfaction and know how water could taste so good. That's a life-saving asset. So you're saying that water drunk during tasty, oh, you see that it tastes so good because it has become a need or necessity. Now, we're saying that water is a life-saving asset. Yeah, it is true. We are advised by doctors that you don't even have to wait to feel tasty before you drink water. So wherever you are going, you can go with your bottled water, either in your bag, in your pocket, everywhere, so that you'll be sipping small. Small. Don't wait for complete taste or tasty before. That one is wrong. Because by then, the body is dehydrated. Lack of water or body fluids. So you see that you can die. In case of any choke, you die. So please, we are aware that water is life. That one is a fact. Water is life. So don't wait until you are extremely tasty before you drink water. Have it by your side. It could be sachet water. Then be sipping small. If you don't have money to go and buy the Vortic, you get any bottle container. Of course, the Vortic, you can buy it. After you are done with the drinking, you can buy pure water, the sachet, and then you pour it in. Be sipping it small. I drink water a lot. So before this intervention came, the doctors are saying we should be sipping water. I say, this does not apply to me because already I drink water a lot. And that's my body system. Okay, so we'll continue. We are saying that there must be an intense desire to be good. There must be an intense desire to be good as a Christian. So consider yourself as the farmer. Where your friend is thirsty or someone is thirsty, you must have an intense desire. We mean inward, something so demanding to be good. Now, Jesus used the same metaphor. And when we say metaphor, we mean a figure of speech used to represent something, okay, but not the actual. So metaphor, a figure of speech in which an expression is used to refer to something that it does not literally denote or to suggest a similarity. So Jesus used the same metaphor in the fourth Beatitude, thereby saying, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. For they will be filled. The other one is saying, for they shall be satisfied. So the ESV, For they will be filled is the New King James Version. All right. Of course, as I've mentioned the quotation, it is Matthew 5, verse 6. Now let us look at the synopsis and then the objectives. Why are we treating this? 1 or A. To know the meaning of hunger and thirst. When we say hunger and thirst, how do you understand? Is it the normal hunger and thirst for food and then water or what? Then point B, meaning of they shall be filled. They shall be filled, or they will be filled. Because I'm using the ESV and then the King James, I'm mixing the words. At times I will use will, at times I will use shall. Once again, please, I'm saying that the Bible is complete. The Bible is complete. There's no mistake in the Bible. There are no hidden books that God forgot to add to the Bible. It is not true. The Bible is complete. Therefore, the Bible does not contradict itself. So I'm saying that the King James Version is saying that for they will be filled. So will is used by the King James. By the ESV is using shall. For they shall be satisfied. So shall in the ESV and then will in the King James. That's why we're saying that we don't set the Bible as a graphic. And if you want to know the Bible studies deeper, don't use just one Bible. Because I have this saying will. This one is saying shall. And once again, by grammar, we're saying that both will and shall are auxiliary verbs pointing to the futurity, mean the future. So will and shall are all referring to future. And when we say auxiliary, it means to provide support or to offer support. So we say auxiliary verbs, will and shall. All right. A. What is hunger and thirst? Now the Greek word pianao or pinao, P-E-I-N-A-O. Yeah, pinao, translated as hunger, means to famish and to die of food deprivation. Pinao or pinao, which is hunger, referred to famish and to die of food deprivation. So this means that when you are hungry, sorry. This means no one is giving you food and you have been prevented from eating or having access to food. That's the essence of the Greek word pinao, food deprivation. So to famish and to die of food deprivation. So someone can be starved to death. And dipsao, D-I-P-S-A-O. Please, we are trying to explain the Greek origin. The Bible is not read as a graphic. And both my ESV and the King James Version, they contain no Greek words. So you must have a concordance elsewhere. When you are doing a biblical study, if you have more scripts or more books around, then you compare and contrast. So dipsao is the Greek word for test. Pinao is equal to hunger, or you can say pinao is equal to hunger. Now we are on the test. We are trying to look at what is hunger and thirst. So the test in Hebrew is called dipsao, which implies a desperate longing for something we cannot live without. A desperate longing for something we cannot live without. Thirst. We cannot survive without or minus food and water. No living being, no living creature, even animals and plants, they depend on food and then water. When there's a dry season in Ghana, in fact, all the forests will be dried. At times, it will even result in bushfires, and the animals will suffer. So, no living thing can live minus food and water. Now, the people listening to Jesus' sermon or the Sermon on the Mount knew something about hunger and thirst. They knew it. Their bodies had craved for food and water. Some time back. The average first century Jew earned 1 denarius a day. Now, this denarius was a Roman coin. Of course, it could be a quarter of a dollar. A quarter of a dollar. In circle, you can say quadrant. Yeah, when you divide something into 4. So you can say 1/4, or you can say 1/4 of a dollar. Meaning that was so minute. Nowadays, Ghana, $1 is equal to about 12 cedis. So 12 cedis divided by 4, for example, in Ghana, will be 3 cedis. So you can imagine being paid 3 cedis for work, per day or per your contract. Now, there's a man called William Buckley. William Buckley. They were all my lecturers. Some time back. They were all my lecturers. So I have the right to cite his quotation in my delivery. Yes, of course, with permission. That's why when you quote it, you have to bring the person into bracket. Then it means that it is from that person and not myself. Even the Bible, when you quote something, that's why you have to paraphrase. John 3:16. Then the person will know that you are quoting from the Bible. So in writing and publication, if you take anything from author minus the citation, then they can. In fact, I won't say they can. They are supposed to seize your license. You are a thief because the thing belongs to someone. So this man, William Buckley, is saying he has a commentary or commented on the Beatitudes, and to some point, this was what he said: no man ever got fat on that wage. The 1 denarius. No one ever got fat on that wage. In fact, no family was ever far from starvation. That's why here we are saying that the listeners, they knew something about hunger and thirst. Because if you are working so hard and you are paid just 1/4 of a US dollar, either per day or per your contract, then your family is going to starve. And when there's no money, you cannot buy food and water. Or maybe they were just getting the water from elsewhere, but the food you pay for. That's why this man is saying that no man ever got fat on that wage. In fact, no family was ever far from starvation. Yes. All right. We're still trying to trace the origin of this hunger and thirst. So we're saying that water was scarce in the ancient Palestine. Water was scarce then. It had to be carried from deep community wells and streams or distant streams. So either you go to the community to fetch it, or you go to a stream. When I say a stream, we mean a bigger ocean or river which is flowing. So you're going to carry it. So you can imagine the labor. You're going to carry it. Unlike fetching from your own home from a tap. No. So either you carry your bucket or your pan to go and fetch it in the community, or you walk far distant to the stream. So the people in Jesus' audience knew what it was to be desperately thirsty. In fact, you can imagine when you are hungry and then you have been sent to go and buy food from a distance. You can imagine that. You are so thirsty. You came home or you went home and there was no water. Akosia, John, go and fetch water. Calculating the distance alone can lead you to collapse. So this is when you're going to endure and know the meaning of being thirsty. When there's no water, you have to labor for the water. So Jesus used their hunger and thirst as symbols, being the metaphor. He used their hunger and thirst as symbols of longing for goodness and being right with God. That's all. That's why I said he spoke to them in metaphor or metaphorical manner. Yes, hunger and thirst. So we will know that it is not just food, normal food that we eat. Now let's go to the Old Testament and see what it takes to long for God. So we say longing for God. Go to Psalms 42, verse 1 and 2. So longing for God. I'll give you two emphasis where even our forefathers and then our ancestors, how they were looking for God. I said Psalms. Psalms 42 verse 1 and 2. As a deer pants for flowing streams, so pants my soul for you, O God. Verse 2. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come near? When shall I come and appear before God? My soul thirsts. As a deer pants for flowing streams. And we all know deer. If you watch Animal Kingdom, I'm a documentary, BBC and others. I'm in National Geography. You see how they run helter-skelter to locate a stream to drink, especially on the dry season. And whether dry season or not, whenever they are going to drink, they don't walk, they run. So the word pant or panting, P-A-N-T-I-N-G, it means someone who is breathing heavily. So, for example, a runner being an athlete who is done with the daily work. You call this one panting. So, as the deer, so the soul, we say that point 1. In the Old Testament, thirst was used as a metaphor to portray the soul's deep longing for God. So in the Old Testament, the writers use thirst, being the dipsao, the Greek, as a metaphor to portray the soul's deep longing for God. So the test here is not just normal test. So the first example is that the soul thirsts for God as the deer pants for water. That's what I read in Psalm 42, verse 1 and 2. So the deer, though the stream is not gone, yeah, the stream is there, yet the deer will run helter-skelter at a very top speed because he is in need of water or to drink water. Of course, there are hazards of being hunted by lions and tigers. It could be crocodile and others. But still, the animal has to pant for the water. So also our souls must also thirst for God. 2. Go to Psalms 63, verse 1. Psalm 63, verse 1. Psalm 63, verse 1. Oh God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. Earnestly I seek you. Why? My soul thirsts for you. My flesh faints for you. As in a dry and weary land where there's no water. Now here David thirsted for God in prayer when King Saul hunted and hunted him in the desert of Judah. We are making reference to desert. So which means there was no food, there was no water there. And Saul was, the word is hunting and hunting. When we say hunt, we mean to kill. But the word hunted means to visit regularly, to disturb someone, to deprive someone of his or her peace. Hunted. So Saul was looking for David to kill at all costs. So he ran to the desert called Judah. And there, where there was no food and water was when his soul longed for God. That's why we're saying that in the Old Testament, they used a metaphor tests to depict the soul's deep longing for God. So David was in deep longing for God, for test and water, of course, in prayers. And he was hiding because Saul was with his army looking for David. And it is quite surprising. You know, a hatred and envy will cause your sleep. A king was supposed to stay in his palace, but because of jealousy, hatred, and envy, he was deprived of his, I would say freedom, his peace. He jeopardized it to pursue, to hunt and kill David, a man who had done nothing. In fact, this is a pure jealousy and envy and hatred. We experience the same thing in the world, in our churches, in our work, school, in our homes, in our families, everywhere. Mere hatred, jealousy, and then envy. No sense is in it. Now, what did David do? He killed Goliath. David, he just killed Goliath to the glory of God. To the glory of God. I be say, Father, I do what I do to the glory of God. And I've been saying that anybody who questions an evangelist, why are you preaching? Why are you doing this? It's an antichrist. It's a pure and physical antichrist. I mean, how dare you? And then who are you to question someone who is sharing God's word? So Saul pursued David. He hated him for no reason. So David said it, that I'm being hated for no reason. And of course, it was true, to the point that he had to test for food and water in the desert of Judah. You can imagine this. He did nothing wrong. David did nothing wrong. But in this side, we are saying that anyone who pursues righteousness will be hated by Satan. Of course, he cannot come to you by physical means. He channels it through someone who is so closer to you. David was hated for no reason. Saul had no reason for hating him. He utilized his youth. And those of you who listen to my sermon, remember now thy creator. David killed Goliath in his youth when he was about 17 years of age. He was so young. He did that in honor of the Lord. So we live and serve to the glory of the Lord, not to impress ourselves. No, to the glory of the Lord. So when we long for fellowship with God, when we want to obey the will of God, and when we yearn to be the same as God in character, we are blessed by God and we will be filled with righteousness. I repeat it. When we long for fellowship with God, or to fellowship with God, when we want to obey the will of God, and when we yearn to be the same as God in character, we are blessed by God and we will be filled with righteousness. B, of they shall be filled. So we are on the B part. They shall be filled. I'm trying to treat them a bit by bit. So now we are done with blessed are the hungry and thirsty. So now we go to the B part. They shall be filled. So it means what? Now, if we hunger and thirst for righteousness, we shall be filled, as we heard earlier. So our desire to be good does not escape God's notice. He knows that this my son or this my child wants to do something good for me. He knows when we want to be right with him. And there's no way God is going to let you be harmed. So David was not harmed by King Saul. Or they will hate you, they will ridicule you, they will call you names, they will build some barriers. Prevent you from opportunities. But hey, God will never forget you. The interest is that what you are doing for God. You have chosen to be disciplined. You have chosen not to do what the world is doing. So they are insulting you. Those who are insulting you are the messengers from Satan. So we live for God. The verb shall be filled. The verb shall be filled is in the passive voice. Of course, we have active and passive. So the verb shall be filled is in the passive voice. Which means, or that means that the holiness for which we long is not something we achieve by our own effort, no matter how hard we try. Shall be filled, shall or will be filled, means that the holiness for which we long is not something that we can achieve by our own effort, no matter how hard we try. Shall be filled is passive and it comes from God. It is something God does for us. Oh, good, it is even here. So we say that it is something which comes from God by his mercy and favor. So shall be filled is not by our might or by anybody. No earthly human being can provide this need. No. So shall be filled here is from God. It is an act of God. God and God alone impart the righteousness for which the disciples hungers, or the disciple hungers, or disciples hunger and thirst. God alone provides it. It is by the work of God, by his mercies. That's why he filled us. So please, here we are saying that at times people have been serving God for payment. So let's say she's not married. She begins to do some labor work. Someone will say donkey work for God. If he's a boy, he does so many things for God because he is looking for a wife or a child and others. Please, we are saying that worshiping God is not it for that. It's not about employee and then employer. No. Your duty is to do his work. That's all. So don't sit somewhere and think that by being hungry and by being thirsty, God must fill you by force. No. We are saying that it is his act. He does it when he wants to. So if you see any Christian who is hungry and thirsty for the Lord, and then the Lord has not granted the fulfillment, do not blame him or her. Only God will do it at his own appointed time. Of course, we cannot force him to do anything. Also, the verb shall be filled is also in the future tense verb. So we saw it to be in the passive voice, and then that's why we say shall. In fact, when I began, I said that the King James is using will be filled, will, and then the ESV is using shall be satisfied. So shall, will or will and shall are auxiliary verbs. Will and shall are auxiliary verbs. It means they are referring to the futurity or the future. And the word being adjective auxiliary means to offer or provide support. That's why here we are saying that the verb shall be filled is a future tense verb. And I've explained that will or will and shall are auxiliary verbs referring to the futurity or the future. And so it has been cleared here that the verb shall be filled is a future tense verb. So it is something that God will do it later. So we are being changed into God's likeness now. But that process will not be completed until we are perfected in heaven. Then our hunger and thirst for righteousness will be totally satisfied. We are looking forward to a new heaven and a new earth, the home of righteousness. 2 Peter 3 verse 18. 2 Peter 3 verse 18. Okay. But we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth in which righteousness dwells. So that's something that you must note here. We are looking for a new heaven and a new earth. So the new heaven and then the new earth in 2 Peter 3 verse 13 belongs to those who hunger and thirst and who will be filled. So this is what you must know. That's why we say it is a future tense verb. So it is only those who hunger and thirst who will be granted heaven by being fulfilled. Of course, we have seen that David longed for God in prayer when he was hungry and thirsty in the desert of Judah, when King Saul hunted and hunted him for no reason, for no single sensible reason. It was a mere hatred, envy, and jealousy. So by being granted the favor of righteousness in heaven through your hungry and then you're thirsty, they can sing a song that we are marching to Zion, the beautiful city of God. Okay, conclusion. Now the first one will be still on deducing the hunger and then the thirst. So the English Bible, the verbs hunger and thirst are present tense verbs. But in the original text, they are present participles. Sorry. So literally translated as the fourth beatitude, this is how it should read. Blessed are the hungering and thirsting. So blessed are the hungering and thirsting for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. In fact, it is not so easy to hunger and thirst for righteousness. How many people are doing this in this world? That officially, rather they are hungry and thirsty for money, fame, to build houses, to be wealthy, buy cars, buy mobile phones, build houses, build companies. That's what they are hungry and thirsty for. So when they see you that you are hungry and thirsty for God, they mock at you. In fact, they mock you. They will mock you, and they will even employ people to come and then join in the mockery that this person has no future. People are reasoning. People have stopped schooling to stake my bet and do other business, and you are wasting your time with books. Yes, when they see you learning, then they make fun of you until they fail in their life. Business is temporary. In case you don't know, Takada market cycle has been demolished, and now they are building a new one. It is almost 1 year. They are still not done with it. So all those who stopped schooling or studying, doing something useful to business, now they are suffering somewhere. And before they are done with the market, People might have paid bribes. So I'm not sure you're going to get your same place that you were before. I'm not saying that those who are doing business there are school dropouts, but I'm making reference to anyone who has stopped schooling because he saw reading to be waste of time. He saw learning to be waste of time, and he mocked at you. You continuously learn your books. When he fails in life, it's when he's going to recognize that, I remember this girl, I remember this boy was so studious in our time. And in future, you can do that business as a hobby. What he is doing as his full-time profession, you are going to do that as a hobby and then employ someone, employee, then you become his or her master or madam. We must hunger and thirst for righteousness. God is righteous. The word righteousness means right. When you hear of righteousness, then it means right. Someone who is right. Someone who is right means someone who is perfect, disciplined. Yes is yes, no is no. If it is white, it is white. If it is black, you say black. Period. That's why we have the word righteousness. Right. Doing things right. So right and pure that no one will have anything to say against you. Unless someone is an antichrist who sees nothing good with God's work. But naturally, we must hunger and thirst for righteousness. And by so doing, before God will grant us heaven. As seen in 2 Peter 2 verse 13. 3 verse 13, sorry. Okay, we move on. In fact, the pursuit of righteousness is not even popular among many professing Christians. Yes, and this has also reminded me. Always have been saying that if you want a church which is so hypocrite, now in my studies, it's my own church, Church of Christ, and almost all churches of Christ. Why am I saying this? They cover up their sins and they go out to criticize people, criticize other churches. They cover up their own sins. Always I've been saying that as you see me, I am as a sinner more than you are. Don't see me as someone who is righteous or perfect. No. None is perfect. So I don't feel sorry in case I am called a non-righteous. No. I am trying to be. I try to be righteous. They have covered up their own sins. They have their... If you go to some churches, they sing using microphones. They have choristers. They play instruments. And they have covered them up. They go to radio, to TV, to anywhere to lambast different churches, which is evil and wrong. You must prune yourself, and when your load is less, then you can prune others too. They have chosen to cover up. You go to different churches of Christ and see what they are doing there. The church has splitted. Different congregations have their ways of worshiping God. So I see them to be more hypocrites. Now, we are saying that a sinner sees himself as a sinner. I hope that one is clear. So, for example, let's say you don't. For example, we have been saying that if you are not baptized into our church and stay faithfully, when you die, you miss heaven. Yeah, that one is a fact. But does this mean that all those of us who are in are righteous? Some of us are womanizers. Some are manizers. Some are making money by all means possible, whether it is good or bad. They will make money. Some are covetous. Some, in fact, I want you to know that everything in the world is also found in churches of Christ. Anyone who says I'm lying should confront me. And of course, I will defend myself. We are all sinners. We are all sinners. So no one should stand anywhere to proclaim that he is righteous. We are all sinners before God. That's why we are saying that, in fact, the pursuit of righteousness is not even popular. It's not even popular among many professing Christians. Nowadays, they have all drifted, or we have all drifted. We even love the world than the unbelievers. Now they are celebrating Christmas. So can you justify to me that no COC member is celebrating Christmas? Some are celebrating the Christmas. We have some church members who are celebrating the Christmas. They are doing what the world is doing. So which is which? And then who is who? And later they pretend. That's why I call them hypocrites. Of course, they are doing them in their homes. Some even take bet because bet is on phone. Some even take bet. We have gay, some are being gay, a whole lot. There's no sin in the world in which you not find in the church. So you should be careful. If you are in the church and then you want to marry from the church, be careful because those there are not angels. We continue. From time to time, nearly everyone wants to be a better person. Yes. We all want to be better. So that people will know that we are also a human being, fame and glory. But that desire ebbs and flows. When we say ebb, the word ebb, EBB, means gradually declines. Gradually declines. So we're saying that, but that desire ebbs and flows. It usually does not last long. Yes. To some of them, they don't last after the world for a longer time. They participate and sooner they go back. So this is the one merit of being a Christian. Once you're a Christian, at least you have a conscience that no, the path that I'm trending is sin. So quickly, by saying the word, you see that you are plagued by your conscience and then you can retrogress. But someone who is unbeliever sees nothing wrong with this. So the person will rather bath in the water, which is money. So whether he's to kill or not, he will do it. The interest is that he wants fame. He wants to provide for the family. He wants to be seen that he is wealthy in the family. Please, respect does not go with being wealthy. No. Not all children are even fond of money. Some are even fed up. They see themselves as slaves in their own homes. Yes, money will enslave you. Money, because there are more restrictions. No liberty in the house. So most of them, precisely the females, and most of the billionaires' daughters, they are fed up with their fathers. Money. Why? Because they have grown, they have matured, man, sense. They were not taught anything. They can't do anything on their own. So they envy their friends who they were in school with. They were able to wash, they were able to scrub. I mean, they were practical in life. They envy them. How they wish they were trained the way they were also brought up. So wealth enslaves. So you become a slave to your own wealth. You are always restricted from movement. Everything is by restriction. And sometimes they grow to become so timid. They know nothing in life. No single experience. So when the parent dies, hey, then they become paupers. Because they don't even know how to save money. They were always provided with everything. So they have no experience in life. Okay, we move on. So at best, our desire to develop a godlike character is not as intense as starvation for food and thirst for water. So here we're saying that the way we pant or the way we hurry to eat or to look for food and water to drink when we are hungry and thirsty should be the same as, or should even be should even be more than looking for God or being righteous with God. You see, when you are righteous, it's when God is always closer to you. God hates sin. So the moment you sin, he runs away. Now the example is Samson. He didn't know that the Spirit of the Lord has left him. The moment he sinned, by telling Delilah that my strength is my hair, was when God left him entirely. God hates sin. So God does not stay with a sinner. So once you sin, he runs away. All your prayers, being answered or not, were not answered by God. So this is what you must know. Unless you pray. So Samson prayed and seek permission from God that he should be killed among the Philistines. He prayed. So if you're a sinner, John 9 verse 31, God does not listen to the prayer of a sinner. So if you're a sinner, don't think that your prosperity is from God. Remember, Satan has the power to give at times even wealth than God, as supposed by some human beings. If you look at the music industry, from hip-hop to Ghanaian music, most of them are into black money. Most of them doing underground sacrifices. They are doing everything possible to become famous. They die and they go to Tartarus and later they go to hell. They live to serve their master. I call them Satan's mannequins, a dummy used for advertisement. They are on this life purposely to spread Satan's message. So me, for instance, I don't watch TV. In fact, yesterday I went somewhere and I was coming in the car. I saw that there was some music video. I said, hey, wow. Because I don't use my eyes to watch useless music videos. Useless, no. I don't know much or most artists. You don't know me. So why should I know you? And of course, you, who are you? You human being, who are you? Why should I waste my time to watch an artist? For what? I'm wasting my eyesight. I will use my eyes to learn the Bible. Because maybe at old age, or let's say tomorrow next, I may go blind or visually impaired. Then it means that when I had clear eyesight, I utilize it for God. The eyes were created by God, not a music artist. So if you are the type who spends all your time watching and praising artists, liking them on Facebook, you are working for Satan, in case you are unaware. We have ways of evangelism. We have radio, mobile phone, TV, Facebook, as I'm here now. What do you put on your WhatsApp? Is it to sell your food, to sell your products, to prepare music artists? What do you use your phone for? Now my question is that, when have you at least put there John 3:16 before? Useless pictures, useless videos, useless items that are normally found. A Christian has no idea that I can use my phone for evangelism. So at least let me look for a biblical quote and then start sharing on those who have been watching to like and comment those stupid things. They will start to comment when you start to put the godly issues. Anyway, you continue. It's your own choice to be good or evil. My duty is to preach to you the gospel of Christ. Now, Satan. Now, 2.2 of my conclusion. Satan is still tempting people today the way he tempted Eve in the Garden of Eden. Now, if you go to 1 John, let's read it. 1 John 2, verse 15 to 17. Normally, we call it, do not love the world. 1 John 2, verse 15 to 17. John. Very good. Do not love the world, nor the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. It's not. Verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. These are what is in the world. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. We saw all this in Dinah, Jacob's daughter. She loved the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. It's not from the Father. It's not from the Father, but it's from world, or from the world. It's not from the Father. Now verse 17. And the world is passing away, and the lust thereof. But he who does the will of God abide forever. Now go to Ephesians 5 verse 15 to 17. I read. Be careful how you walk as wise, not a fool. Verse 16. Redeeming the time, because the days are evil. So verse 15 and verse 16 are caveat. Be careful how you walk. It starts by saying, be careful how you walk as wise, not a fool. Then verse 16, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. So someone will say that, yes, still, I will not listen to the warnings. Now verse 17 is saying, do not be foolish, but understand what the will or the will of the Lord is. It's what we are saying also in 1 John 2 verse 17. The will of the Lord. Not the will of the world, which is for Satan. The will of the Lord. So we're saying that through the desires of the flesh, the desire of beautiful things, and the desire to be important. Yes, I also want to be celebrated as a celebrity. It goes nowhere. You die and then you go to hell at the end. So we're saying that unbelievers, they are so preoccupied with worldly things that they are not interested in spiritual values. So why should you go and then befriend someone who's a pagan? He lives to preach the gospel of Satan. And he's forbidden to follow you to your church. Why should you follow him to his word? Why? No satanic person will love God, so they hate to hear his word. Number two, they won't even follow you to your church. Why should you mingle with them? I was there, and then my students were wishing me happy Christmas. Then I said, I don't celebrate Christmas. And they would say, sir, please, I'm sorry. Then I said, you didn't know. And what do you mean by happy Christmas? What is that? A happy Christmas, what did they even say? A happy Christmas, and is it Xmas or Christmas? So and so. And then I said, I do not. I said, sir, that's not celebrate Christmas in my faith. They said, sir. I said, you don't worry. I won't blame you because you don't know. So that next year, they will not waste their time to come and then refrain from them. You must let them know that you are a Christian, because they don't feel shy to portray their Satan. Why should you hinder your God? Why? It's my question. Why should you feel shy to tell them that I attend Church of Christ, therefore I don't celebrate Christmas? Be bold and tell them. If they choose not to listen to you, they should go to hell. I don't care. I've been saying that I don't do my video to please anyone. No. I speak when the Bible speaks. Whether you listen or not, it is none of my business. And of course, if you listen, it will be good for you. Because maybe you are misled. Yesterday, I was confronted by someone. Then I was coming home in the evening. That, Uncle Ato, please, share your videos on the platform. We have some WhatsApp platform. He said I should upload all of them. Then I said, why? Then he said, your teachings and sermons are so deep and deeper. I said, oh, wow. He said, yes. And most of us have heard maybe something like that, but the preacher or the person didn't go deeper like that. That's oh, okay. So I went to Facebook and shared all the videos that I've done to the platform, except what I'm now doing. Of course, when I'm done to, I'll share it. It means some people are listening. And this person attends Pentecost. My own friend, Enu. I mean, Professor Enu was the one. I was surprised. He does not attend my church. He attends Pentecost. So it means that he has been benefiting. Of course, we do not forbid God's word. At times, Jehovah's Witness, they come to study with me. Or I give them the chair, we study and then we disperse. But there's no way you can lie to me. Because always I'm studying the Bible. At times, before they knock, they'll be studying the Bible. So it means, I'm going to test my hypothesis. But God being so wonderful, we have never ever quarreled. It's God's word. There could be misunderstanding based on their background, based on my background. So it should be in harmony. That's how it should be. Okay. We move on. So to the unbelievers, talking about righteousness is so boring. In fact, righteousness is the last thing the unbelievers want to think or talk about. They don't have, because they are in darkness. When I start to treat the last one, blessed are those who are in light. So I mean, you are the light in the world. It's when you know about them. They are in darkness. And anyone who is in darkness fears the light, because when you go in there, you'll be exposed. Good businesses are done during broad daylight. That's what people who are doing a courtship and dating, if it is not genuine, they do it in the evening. Fine, what you are doing is good. Do it in broad daylight. You see them caressing and then movement. Do it in daytime, because if you are doing a good thing, they hide. Because they are in darkness. So people who are pagans are in darkness. They care for pleasure, money, and the things money can buy. I've been saying that. In fact, I was reading a book, and the book was saying that if you grow up with nothing, it is not so hard to do without. I myself am poor. I come from a very poor family. So always I say I'm a poor person. So the book is saying that, or was saying that, if you grow up with nothing, it is not so hard to do without. But once a person has money and the things money can buy, once a person has money and the things money can buy, it is hard for them to do without. You continue. So they care about pleasure, money, and what money can buy, and self-advancement through education, wealth, and political power. As I already have read, 1 John 2:15 and then 17. So this is what those who are unrighteous, they are not hungry and thirst for righteousness. No. They don't care that God will grant them heaven. No. They live to serve their master. Now, point 3 being the last point for the conclusion. Here he's saying that Jesus did not say, this is what you must note on the Matthew 5 verse 6. Let me read it again and then we move on. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they will be filled. So here we're saying that blessed, Jesus did not say, blessed are the righteous. So if I've been baptized into the Lord's church, this is not what God is saying. He said, blessed are those who hunger and thirst. Who hunger and thirst for righteousness. So believers yearn to be similar to God. That's all. So to be pure, to be holy, and morally upright. Morally upright. Against all odds. Against all odds. Then he blesses us. When he sees that you are holy, you are pure, and you are morally upright, he blesses you. This kind of righteousness comes from walking with God and cooperating with the Spirit of God who lives in us. It is gained by cooperation. You must cooperate. When we say cooperate here means you have to subdue, or you have to let go of all your filthy part of life. All filthy things should go away before the Spirit can work with you. John 9:31. You let me read it and see. In case I'm wrong, let's prove it. John 9:31. At times, if you speak and then you don't read, someone might think that you are just cracking jokes. John 9:31. Now you know that God does not hear sinners. So if I am in filth with the world, someone who is we call it a translucent. The person is not opaque. He is not transparent. So translucent. A Christian who is translucent cannot walk with God, because your one leg is in the world and your one leg is also in the church. So more or less like a Venn diagram where two sets are intersecting. So you have A and B, but there's a middle portion. That's how you are. You are in the middle. Your one leg is in the world, in the other circle, and your other leg is also in the other circle. Both world, and you can't serve two masters. You can't serve both world and God. You must choose one. So believers yearn to be similar to God, that is pure, holy, and morally upright. So this kind of righteousness comes from working with God and cooperating with the Spirit of God who lives in us. As we look upon the face of Jesus Christ and long to be the same as him, we are transformed into his likeness by the power of the Holy Spirit. 2 Corinthians 3:18. Now this Holy Spirit strengthens us with the power in our inner being. Ephesians 3:16. Still on the Spirit. The Spirit, when I said Spirit, I mean the Holy Spirit, gives us power to put to death the misdeeds of the body. Romans 8:18. Romans 8:18. Romans 8:18. For if you live after the flesh, you will die. But if you through the Spirit put to death the deeds of the body, you will live. Now let's go to Galatians 6:8 to parallel this Romans 3:8. Galatians 6:8. Galatians, what are you? Galatians 6:8. Very good, I'm there. For he who sows to his flesh will of the flesh reap corruption. For he who sows to the flesh will of the flesh reap corruption. But he who sows to the Spirit will of the Spirit reap eternal life. So we say that the Spirit gives us power to put to death the misdeeds of the body. The misdeeds is referring to unrighteousness, what the world is doing. Still on the Spirit helps us in our weakness. Romans 8:26a. The Spirit intercedes for us with groans that words cannot express. The same Romans 8:26b. I've been saying that because I don't want to sin. That's why I prefer studying the Bible. And whoever studies more law, or someone who normally lives by rules, does not commit. So anyone who reads more law daily, it's so hard for the person to be committed or to be to committing, something which is a disorder. No, because he knows the laws of the land, or he knows the laws. Because I don't want to sin, that's why always I prefer to study the Bible. And the more you study the Bible, the lesser you sin, and the more you are reasonable in thought. And anyone in this life who counter-attack, who tries to frustrate you, who tries to question you why you are studying the word, or why you are working for God, is an antichrist. No matter who he is, he's an antichrist. So add yourself after. By obeying Matthew 28, verse 19 to 20, Mark 16, verse 15 to 16, say, go therefore. I'll give you a sermon very soon after I'm done with the Beatitudes. Go therefore. This was a command. It's a command from Jesus Christ. You need no authority from anybody again. Go therefore, period. So I'm just doing my master's work. And how do you go therefore? Some are not able to go because they don't say the Bible. They don't know the Bible. I was called by one girl that, I've been enjoying your studies so much, but when I read the Bible, I don't understand it. Then I say, okay, at least, do you understand what I say? Oh, yes, for yours, I understand very well. But sometimes she wants to study the Bible, but when she studies it, she doesn't understand. Then I thought, okay. Then we ended the conversation. It is not easy to study the Bible. It is not easy. But I find it to be so simple because I've been studying the Bible for quite some time now. And I study the Bible than any other book and subject in this life, course or program. At times people say I'm good in meta work and others, but I learned the Bible than meta work. So having said that, we are done with the Beatitude. Of course, blessed are those who hunger, or blessed are the hungry and thirsty, being the episode 4. So catch you same time tomorrow, God's willing, between 10 and 1. Normally I'll begin from 11 a.m. I think 10 is so early for others. So 11 a.m. I will come and then we'll continue with the episode 5 in Matthew 5 verse 7. So having said that, I'm grateful and thank you for your time. I've seen that 2 sisters are watching. I thank you so much for making the time to join me. I'll see you again. Bye bye. God bless you.